someone arranges or facilitates sexual encounters for money.
Saweetie, she sure do look good, huh? I didn't really know what she looked like before this vid, but I could see why that nigga whip, bruh. I don't even know if that nigga Sancho hit, bro, but shit. No, that's crazy, gang. I ain't gonna lie. I would go for this shit too. I ain't gonna lie. If I was green and shit like that nigga, bro, like look at her body, gang. You see that shit, and she holding my jersey? Oh yeah. How much money do you want? 180K a week? No problem, my nigga. I got you. say less. He probably like, hey, bro, you could take all my money as long as I just get a whiff of that shit. You feel me? That's all the nigga need. Yeah. The Saweetie Allegations Are Wild video by Blackie Speaks. Let's get straight to it, man.
I want to talk about this recent story involving rapper Saweetie getting exposed by her former road manager, who basically accused her of moving like an escort. I'm sure a lot of people recognize the name, or at least the face. Saweetie got it popping back in 2017 with her breakout song Icy Girl. After that, she had a few big hits and a very public relationship with the rapper Quavo.
I don't think I've heard a single Saweetie song. I'll be honest, gang. She just famous for looking good and being with Quavo, like he said. Like, let's keep it a buck. If any of y'all know a single Saweetie song, drop it in the comments, bro, and I'll listen to that shit. I'm lying. I'm not listening to that shit. But yeah, drop the song title in the comments just to let me know she really a rapper.
But even though her music pushed her to the top, a lot of the conversations around her career has always been about her image, her relationships, and whether the fame was built on more than just the music. Now let's get into this particular story. A few days ago, a woman who goes by the name of Maybach May, who claimed to be Saweetie's former...
Her chin long as shit. Okay. I don't know why I expected her manager to look different than this, but I was not expecting this.
Her road manager went viral after posting a series of social media posts accusing Saweetie of exploiting her current boyfriend, which is footballer Jadon Sancho, for money. Basically, she claimed that she was the one who arranged Saweetie's trip to London, where she met Jadon. Some of y'all might recognize the name or face. Jadon Sancho is a very famous 25-year-old English footballer, or soccer player like Americans would say, who plays for Aston Villa in the Premier League.
Bro, ain't it crazy how I've never heard of this nigga, but he's making the big bucks, bro? Like, this nigga's making, I believe, around 13 million a year, because he's making like a $50 million deal in 5 years. This nigga is making 13 mil a year. And I didn't even know who this nigga was. It's fucking wild, bro. Niggas in the, you know what I'm saying, other side of the world, like South America and stuff like that, where they be playing soccer and all that shit. Completely unknownst to us Americans, if you're not into soccer, that is. But they still balling like crazy, man.
Saweetie and Jadon first linked up back in January 2025 following her visit to Chelsea FC's home stadium.
Thing about them niggas over there, they don't know how the game go. They do not know how the game go.
Stamford Bridge, back when Jadon was playing there for one season on a loan. That trip ended up being a turning point because, according to Saweetie's former road manager, that's where the story started. Now, Miss Maybach May put up a few posts, but the most prominent one was a screenshot of what she claimed was a text conversation between her and Saweetie. And in those messages, Saweetie was allegedly making a
that's crazy, gang. I ain't gonna lie. I would go for this shit too. I ain't gonna lie. If I was green and shit like that nigga, bro, like look at her body, gang. You see that shit, and she holding my jersey? Oh yeah. How much money do you want? 180K a week? No problem, my nigga. I got you. say less.
Between her and Saweetie. And in those messages, Saweetie was allegedly making an inquiry about Jadon Sancho, basically asking, you know, how much money could I run up if I ended up getting with this guy? And that was one of the most talked about parts of these allegations. This text that the ex-manager claimed came from Saweetie herself. And the message said, when bitches run it up on Jadon, how much they doing in a weekend. So that line alone had people online losing their minds, because if that...
She was already playing this nigga like a fiddle, bruh. Obviously, it's not real. Like, why you going to, you feel me, like I said, a whole nother continent to find your man? Like, obviously, you running a method, you feel me? Especially with these soccer niggas, bro. Can that nigga even speak English, bro? Like, you know what I'm saying? You over here trying to be in a relationship with this nigga, he can't even speak the language you speak for real? Like, come on, man. You're not fooling nobody if you thought we believed that you was really with this nigga for love.
Next is real. It sounds like she's asking, you know, how much are other women making off of him, almost like she's comparing rates. And that's what made this whole situation spiral, because it doesn't just sound messy. it sounds very transactional. And this is important because this is not the first time Saweetie has been accused of this type of thing. Over the years, there's been quiet talk, rumors, gossip, whatever you want to call it, through the grapevine about her using relationships as a business move. Now, this is kind of when it starts getting into the territory where people begin throwing around words like selling the pum pum or escorting, which basically is a very serious accusation. Some of y'all might remember how back in 2022, a little over a year after her breakup with Quavo, he seemingly called her out on the song Messy with the late Takeoff. Rest in peace to Takeoff. On that record, he said, BITCH, after my dog behind my back, but I ain't stressing. And at the time, everybody knew who the dog was rumored to be. It was Offset. And that lyric right there came right after online rumors started spreading online that Saweetie and Offset had hooked up behind Quavo's back, which allegedly is what started the beef between.
That's really some grimy shit, bro. Is he a man's? Because obviously a girl, she gonna try to get under your skin, bro. But if your man's going for some shit like that, mind you, this nigga Offset had a whole wife at the house, bro, and he's still doing this dumb shit with not just any girl, but your girl. I don't know if like they was still together when she did it, but I'm assuming they was. You doing this with my best friend? Like, messy ass shit, man.
Between the two members of the Migos, who are the only two ones left. Saweetie never confirmed it, neither did Offset. However, Offset did years later, recently actually, he denied that. But that moment definitely changed how a lot of people started looking at Saweetie. So now with these new allegations from her former road manager, people are revisiting that old situation, not because the stories are, the same, but because they both paint a picture of how Saweetie moves when it comes to men with status and power, right? Now, her former road manager put up a few other posts, and one of the most notable ones is where she referred to Jadon Sancho as a client. I want to make one thing clear. I booked her for an appearance to visit the Chelsea Stadium and support the soccer team. Instead of paying me, she fell in love with the client and told him not to pay me. I was a road manager with her, getting her deals. I was solid to this girl. She got what she wanted and never paid me. Simple. I want my money. Interesting. She claimed she was actually the one who arranged for Saweetie and Jadon to link up, but according to her, things didn't go as planned. And in reality, at least based on what the road manager is saying, the whole plan was for Saweetie to get together with Jadon and he would trick on her.
Like, man, this nigga not wearing no socks with his shoes. That's how you know this nigga don't know the game, bro.
Okay, meaning he'd spend money on her, buy gifts, fly her out, take care of her financially in exchange for her time and attention. Basically, paying for the pum pum, right? But instead of keeping it business, Saweetie allegedly, fell in love with the guy, and that's what Miss Maybach is claiming. So allegedly. That's when, this whole story turned from just mess.
Did she fall in love with him or fall in love with them pockets? Which one is it, bro?
Into something way more serious. I'll tell a joke, but I ain't never told a lie. I sent you to Dubai because you never balled before and was depressed looking for a happy life. Took you to London, babes. Took you to Nigeria. Booked you on an Australian tour. I helped this girl so much, only for her to play with my money at the end. I'm just missing my payment money from London. Pay up before I start naming the rest of the husbands you was playing with. And her beef with Saweetie is basically that Saweetie didn't pay her for these services, okay? Like 50 cents, she wanted her goddamn money. Now, some people might call that matchmaking or managing.
So the manager, I don't believe she was setting Saweetie up to run these niggas' pockets dry. But maybe like she said, she was feeling lonely, so she was just trying to meet men, I guess. But they happen to be famous men, where Saweetie's trying to get into a relationship with a famous nigga so she could become more famous and get more money. Was that the play? Because like, why the fuck was she a manager in the first place? I'm really confused, man. Like, she over here showing you men, you know what I'm saying? It's like, oh yeah, I got this new man for you to see. It's like, the fuck? Like, just go outside. Niggas is easy as shit. If that was the case.
But depending on how you look at it, if what this woman is saying is actually true, that starts crossing into something way darker, because what she's describing sounds a lot like what they call procure. Because what she's describing sounds a lot like procuring, which by definition is when someone arranges or facilitates sexual encounters for money on.
Saweetie, she sure do look good, huh? I didn't really know what she looked like before this vid, but I could see why that nigga whipped, bro. I don't even know if that nigga Sancho hit, bro, but shit. Just the idea of him hitting, he probably like, hey, bro, you could take all my money. As long as I just get a whiff of that shit, you feel me? That's all the nigga need. Yeah.
In illegal terms, that's literally what's known as pimping or being a madame, which falls under sex trafficking laws in the United States and most other countries. So if, and that's a big if, what she's claiming actually happened, that wouldn't just be messy, that would be a crime. But again, these are just allegations. None of this has been confirmed, and Saweetie hasn't, publicly spoken about this. And I just don't know how smart it is for the ex-manager to even put this out there publicly for a few reasons. Number one, I don't know if this is how she makes her money, but if it is, this move could seriously hurt her business, because anyone with money or status is going to look at this and think, yeah, I'm not working with someone who's exposing private stuff like that. And number two, if there's even a little truth to what she's saying, she might have actually put herself in danger, because when you start talking about flying people around for things like that, it can get the authorities involved.
Crazy ass music video. I've never seen a nigga shoot a music video while skydiving. Unrelated, but shit. Saweetie, she seemed like she done had her time in the spotlight, man. It's crazy. I didn't know, and I still don't know a single song by her, but shit, she been in the game.
Real quick. I mean, that's not just drama anymore. That's the kind of thing that can turn into a real investigation. So honestly, she might have exposed herself too while trying to expose Saweetie, because if this ever gets to the point where the FBI, whoever starts, looking into it, Saweetie could easily flip it into, she could say that, hey, I was being extorted, or, the manager was the one who was trying to set her up. And just like that, Saweetie gets the get out of jail free card, right? But that's beside the point. This type of thing isn't very rare in the entertainment world. Obviously, none of this is confirmed. These are all allegations, and that's exactly how we're labeling it for now, the Saweetie allegations. But let's be real, a lot of this kind of stuff goes on behind the scenes, right? And it's just that most of the time, it never goes to the public. Whether it's certain Instagram models or bottle girls, influencers, once they're connected to the entertainment space, it's a whole different ball game. Because what happens is,
I mean, in essence, bro, like having niggas pay you to let them clap, I don't see why that's a crime. If you're both consenting, you know what I'm saying? He buys you a Birkin bag or whatever the fuck you want to buy, and he buy them cheeks. You feel me? It's like, as long as y'all both give consent, like I said, why is that a crime? I don't really get it. Just let people do what they do, but hey, maybe I'm missing something, bro. I don't know.
You start mixing money, fame, and access, that's where the lines get blurry. Now, whatever you want to say about Saweetie, go ahead. But the truth is, she got money. She's a millionaire. She's not broke. She got money. But that doesn't automatically mean someone can get caught up in a situation like this. Because the truth is, a lot of women who move in these circles, they might have money, but at the same time, they just don't have that kind of money, right? Like, just to give you an idea, Jadon Sancho, the young man we talked about who's 25, who plays in the Premier League, he's reportedly making 300,000 British pounds a week. That's almost 400,000 US dollars every single week. So crazy. Rapper money is very different from athlete, but specifically Premier League money, clearly. Yeah. So when you're in those circles, when that kind of money is floating around, it's a different ballgame, right? And they don't just deal with random women on the street. They go through people, connections, introductions, recommendations, okay, from really? Inside their little world. So when you see a woman with some kind of, popularity, and I'm not specifically saying Saweetie here, but when you see them with these types of women, these types of guys, they don't just pay for, sex. They're also paying for the drama-free experience that comes with it. They know that if they mess with another woman who doesn't have anything to lose, who isn't established or doesn't have her own name, that can get messy fast. But if the woman already has some kind of platform, status, or reputation, it feels safer to them, right? She understands discretion, she understands the game, and she's not about to risk everything for attention. That's the mindset a lot of these ultra wealthy guys have. So it's not always about just attraction. It's about control, privacy, and keeping their world clean from unnecessary problems. I mean, we're talking about wealthy CEOs, executives, entrepreneurs, obviously athletes and musicians and stuff like that. And most of the time, these men already have like a main woman or a wife or a long-term partner who's already aware of how things work. So when they do have someone on the side, that's an arrangement, okay? They know that they can't just mess around with anyone, because one bird-ass bitch can fuck up the whole operation. So that's why a lot of this stuff goes on very quietly through people they trust, introductions, recommendations, circles where everybody already knows the rules, like I said. So that,
yeah, I never really thought about that. I just assumed, like, whenever a nigga just pop out on the scene, they already got a girl, like Ronaldo, Messi. That's all the niggas I know. You feel me? But I think both of them niggas already had a girl by the time that they was on their come up, right? So I never really thought about how it would be to become acquainted with a woman when you're already that nigga. I guess you just, cause you know what I'm saying? You got women throwing themselves at you, motherfuckers in the crowd with your fucking head on a stick, like glazing, dick riding and shit. You don't know if they like you or for your money. So I guess this would be the next best thing, to be introduced to somebody who already has their own thing going on. But my nigga, if you're making half a million a week, basically, bro. Anybody gonna act like that towards you? I don't know what to tell you.
Gets into a whole different conversation, one I'm actually working on for a separate video. But back to Saweetie. Now, it's being alleged that she had multiple trips booked and arranged by this former road manager. The manager claims that they're flying out to all kinds of destinations: Europe, Africa, Australia with the kangaroos and shit, you name it. And according to her, those weren't just regular work trips. She's claiming there was a whole other purpose behind them, which, if true, would completely change how people look at Saweetie's public image. Because even though these kinds of rumors have been echoing around the industry for years, Saweetie's always tried to play on a certain image, which is like the classy, feminine, and business savvy look, right? Or classy, I would say, early on in her career. Later on, she just said fuck it, right? So the Icy Girl brand that she built early on, it was about luxury, confidence, and independence. But at the same time, the way she's moved outside of that brand has often been the complete opposite. Like a few years ago, she went viral due to this Instagram live she put up where she was telling women, if he's not buying you a Birkin bag or paying your bills, throw that nigga back to the streets.
If he's not getting you a Birkin, if he's not paying for your bills, then throw that nigga back to the streets, okay?
Coincidentally enough, she dropped a song right before that moment called Back to the Streets. So a lot of people started feeling like the whole thing was just marketing, which it was, where she was playing into that same image.
I mean, shit, like, she said what she said. Just because it had the song title in it don't mean she didn't. Like, obviously that's how she comes. Like, she dating a rapping nigga, bro. Like, you know what I'm saying? The paint or the pudding was in, what the fuck am I saying? The proof was in the pudding. You know, that took a lot to get out, golly.
In order to sell the music. And the issue with that is pretty obvious. You're selling women in your audience this fantasy that if a man isn't buying you a designer bag, which is worthless, or paying your bills, he's not worth your time. Which, in other words, you're basically saying this pum pum can be bought. Now, as for this particular story, again, these are just allegations. Saweetie hasn't responded to anything, but it's the kind of claim that sticks, especially when it feeds into an image people have already questioned. And the conversation that's been coming up about Saweetie for a while now is how much she's actually benefited from what people call pretty privilege, which in other words means the idea that her looks opened the door for her, that she's been rewarded for being attractive more than her actual talent. But recently, she actually flipped the whole conversation on its head, and
bro,
she went.
You know how niggas be like, name 5 DDG songs, bro? Somebody names 5 Saweetie songs in the comments, or just like can do that off the top of their head, bro. You feel me? I don't know, bro. I give you like $5 or some shit, gang. Cause you feel me? 5 songs, $5 sound like a pretty penny to me. Just that sound like a crazy ass task, bro. I don't even know one Saweetie song, bro. You feel me? I know one DDG song. I don't know a single Saweetie song, bro.
Viral for it. During a recent interview, Saweetie actually talked about something she called pretty punishment. In her words, people have seen that she's gorgeous, she's getting money, she's getting bags, she's always in a spotlight. But what they don't see is how many doors were slammed in her face, how many times she's been counted out or underestimated because of her appearance. And this is according to her, right? This is her perspective. Saweetie said they talk about pretty privilege, but they don't talk about pretty punishment. And what she meant by that is that being pretty comes with a different kind of bias. People project on you, they assume things, and sometimes they even root against you out of animosity or hidden agendas. And Saweetie said that this is something that she's dealt with her entire life.
Feel like the industry has tried to count you out? Like,
since I started.
Talk about it, man. Because I think people, look, to be honest, people see you're gorgeous. You're getting endless bags. You are, listen, that girl. I don't think they understand how many doors, how many rejections, how many times people have counted you out.
I saw it on TikTok. They were like, they talk about pretty privilege, but they don't talk about pretty punishment. There's been so many times I've just been counted out, and I know that it's behind animosity. I know it's because of a hidden agenda, but it makes me work harder. But this has happened like my whole life. So it's like what I deal with in the industry is just different face, same case.
Oof.
Now, after that clip went viral, Saweetie got a lot of backlash online, but she pushed back, saying the media twisted her words and misrepresented her point. On X, formerly known as Twitter, she said the conversation wasn't about bragging or complaining. It was about microaggressions, hidden agendas, and what it's really like to move through the industry as a woman who's constantly being judged for her looks.
That statement didn't seem like really anything bad. It's just like, oh, they say I got pretty privilege, I got pretty punishment, and now niggas is like Saweetie, fuck you, like you don't know what you're talking about, you're a prick. It's like, gang, she just said it's not all glitz and glamour. Why did niggas get mad at that? Why did that deserve backlash? I don't really get it.
And she clarified that she's grateful and she's happy for her success. You know, glory to God, I believe she said. But the pressure, bias, and judgment is real. And she ended it by saying she's not fazed and that she'll keep going because she has a vision, right? So yeah, she framed the whole pretty privilege narrative into something deeper. And whether you agree or not, it's definitely got people talking, right? Now, I don't know exactly where Saweetie stands after these allegations. We haven't heard her side. And everything that's come out so far is still just claims. But what we do know is that this whole conversation opens up a much bigger door because it's way more common than people think. And it got me thinking about something else, which is if Saweetie, someone with money, fame, and a career, and a very strong brand, is allegedly moving this way, imagine what's going on with the industry women who don't have any of that. Imagine what a lot of these Instagram models are doing behind the scenes, like not the established ones.
Yeah, you already know what they do.
Get it popping just now. The ones who are flying out to all these different places like it's nothing. Amsterdam to Bali to Oslo. Next day she's all up in New York and then back to Bali. Like, bitch, how the fuck you do that shit? Posting this luxurious lifestyle, but they don't have a consistent stream of income. And a lot of them are just doing what they can to keep up with the image, to survive, to maintain a lifestyle, or to chase that next opportunity, which usually comes in the form of a man with money who they're using as a come up. I think these allegations are pretty wild. And to emphasize once again, these are just allegations right now. However, I don't know, man. Like Dexter Morgan, I have a hunch. I have a feeling we might hear some more about this story or something connected to it.
Yeah.
And that's just a feeling. What do you guys think about these Saweetie allegations, though? If you made it this far, drop a like on this video, and I'll catch you guys on the next video.
Yeah, W video, my boy, W vid. Final takeaways. She literally did say in text how much they be running up off this Sancho nigga. So, if she was letting the nigga clap in exchange for money, the proof is right there. So it's looking like it's something to it. You know what I'm saying? I doubt the manager would just make this up out of nowhere. We already had Quavo talking about she cheated with Offset on him, and we just got her, the manager, talking about, oh yeah, we gonna expose all the other husbands you was fucking with. You know what I'm saying? Assuming that Offset was one of them people that she was. It's just not looking good, bro. You know, they say where there's smoke, there's fire, and you already know that. But yeah, let me know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys for watching. Make sure to like the video, comment, and subscribe. Appreciate y'all, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Love y'all. Peace.